All right, in the meantime, NFL team owners dismissed Jerry Jones' call for an emergency meeting. This is at a time when some of those owners are trying to take the Cowboys away from him. To Forbes Sports Money co-host Michael Ozanian and Fox News headline sports reporter Jared Max on what they're hearing. Mike, can they, first of all, and then explain how they do, take the team away from him?
That's not going to happen, Neil. It would have to go through litigation. There'd have to be pretty much unanimous support throughout the league for that to happen. What I see this really about is Jerry Jones. It's not so much that he doesn't want Roger Goodell as commissioner, or even for Roger Goodell to, say, earn $45 million in his next deal with the league. What he wants, Neil, is a big chunk of that to be incentive-based, because the league has some big negotiations coming up with the networks and with the players' union. So Jones wants to light a fuse under Goodell to make sure those deals go the way Jerry would like them to go.
Now, Goodell seems safe in his job for at least, I don't know how long the term goes, Jared, for the next 3 years, maybe longer, or am I reading this falsely? What do you think? Jared?
March 20, I didn't realize if you were asking me or Mike. March 2019, Neil, is when Roger Goodell's contract is set to run through. There's a whole lot of money here. You know what I find so interesting is that there's been so much discussion about whether or not the guy who essentially is the CEO of perhaps our most popular form of entertainment in our country, that there's such uproar over whether or not he would earn between $30, $40, or $50 million a year. A couple of days ago, somebody paid $450 million for a Leonardo da Vinci painting, 9 times this figure. And this is what football fans are up in arms about. My take is, if you're a football fan and you have a big problem with how much money Roger Goodell earns, look in the mirror and say, how much money have I contributed toward Roger Goodell's pocket, toward the pockets of all the NFL owners? It's just an interesting case that this goes on. I think the toughest part for Jerry Jones, Neil, back September 26th, the Cowboys played a Monday night game in Arizona against the Cardinals. And Jerry Jones found himself kneeling near midfield with his players. It was about 14, 15 seconds. They kneeled and then got up and walked away. And like most of the owners, he did not want to become part of a political fight, part of a racial fight. And I think the biggest deal that's going on here in this fight between Jones and Goodell is, I think Jerry Jones embarrassed himself. That's my belief. I think he went against what his core ideals were, didn't want to kneel, and I think he blames Roger Goodell for allowing this thing to reach the point where it has. And then, of course, there's the suspension with Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, I think the latter one was the much more influential one, the 6-game suspension that Ezekiel apparently has honored now or will accept. But I do wonder, Michael, if to Jared's point, I always thought at the time that maybe Jones was paving a middle ground there, that Goodell could take him up on, that you didn't kneel, kneel out the national anthem. You stood up for it, but you could kneel beforehand. And that seemed like a good middle ground. It was not the middle ground ultimately accepted, but what do you think of that?
I think this is a culmination to a bunch of issues. I think, first of all, Jerry Jones has never been one to shy away from going against the NFL as a whole. Even after he first bought the Cowboys, when the NFL had Visa as its national sponsor, who was one of Jones's first sponsors? American Express. That caused a big brouhaha. They got through that. I think as he's looking at this now as a businessman and saying, we have declining TV ratings, we have declining attendance, we have sponsors like Papa John's that are unhappy, this is not good for the business of the NFL. I'm not saying that Jerry's gone about it the right way, but I'm saying all of those things, the dollars and cents, that's driving this rather than Ezekiel Elliott.